Hello, my name is Aubrey Myers, and I am the Director of Classical Education at Granite Classical Tutorials. Granite Classical is a tutorial service in Columbia, Maryland, which offers classes in the classical tradition to support homeschool parents in their endeavor to educate their children at home. I'll let you know how to get more information about Granite at the close of this video, but the main purpose of this presentation is to talk about a few reasons families decide to homeschool, to discuss some common myths of homeschooling, and to help point you towards more information about homeschooling in your area. For more resources about homeschooling, you can always visit www.homeschoolnowusa.com. I want to start with some of the most fun reasons to homeschool now. At the top of the list is the fact that days off are scheduled by you, not the weatherman. Homeschooling offers an immense amount of flexibility and control over your own schedule. With homeschooling, you no longer have to ask someone else if you are allowed to take your child on a trip or just take a day off to enjoy nature and to spend some time with each other. You also don't have to worry about your student missing out on important instruction for a doctor or dentist appointment, sickness, and so on. And that flexibility works both ways. Those of you who had planned on attending our originally scheduled in-person Homeschool Now seminar know that we had to cancel our event due to the extreme winter weather here in Maryland. When schools close for weather like this, they usually have to extend their schedule into the summer. With homeschooling, everything you need for learning is in your home, so you don't have to lose important instruction time to the weather. If the weatherman tells you to stay home, you and your child can still learn together. Another fun benefit of homeschooling is that your kids can wear pajamas all day long. Children learn best when they are comfortable and in a loving environment. If you have an occasional day where you don't feel like getting dressed until 1 p.m., you know what? Go ahead. No one's going to know. You have the freedom to relax a little when you're homeschooling. Your child won't feel pressured by their peers to fit the latest fashion flavor of the month, and bullying because they aren't wearing the right clothes will be a thing of the past. Instead, your student can learn in a comfortable, safe environment. Children weren't meant to sit in a chair 6 hours a day. What good is it to learn about the world but not be able to experience it firsthand? Extended recess is another great benefit of homeschooling. We want our children to know the world around them and understand how to interact with it and take care of it. That's part of the reason for educating our students at home. After all, you can't know something you don't get to experience. Going outside and playing is a key aspect to a well-rounded education. Children learn a lot from being outside that they simply can't learn at a desk in a classroom. I personally was homeschooled growing up, and I can't even tell you how many times my brother and I were outside already playing on a nice day, long before the school buses brought the rest of the neighborhood children home from school. Because we could work on our own schedule, my mom would get us up and work with us in a very individualized setting all morning, which meant we could often get all of our homeschool work done early in the day. And then we were free to enjoy the outdoors while our peers were still stuck in a classroom well into the afternoon hours. And another great reason is that learning can be fun. Children naturally learn when they play. So playing with Legos counts as learning. Of course, there's structure when you homeschool, but you'll be amazed at how much just playing with Legos can teach your kids. Legos can help your child learn math, it can improve hand-eye coordination, it develops spatial awareness, unleashes creativity, it can give your child the inspiration to become an engineer, an architect, a designer, and much more. When you homeschool, you're free to take advantage of the most enjoyable ways of learning that appeal to your child's individual interests. And finally, your family time is not confined by the school calendar. Homeschooling allows the flexibility for education to fit your schedule. When I was being homeschooled, we went nearly every year to Homeschool Day at Six Flags America. The park would be open to homeschoolers on a weekday after school was back in session, We could walk right onto all the rides without standing in line. You can take these kinds of family trips at any time during the school year because you're not confined to that school schedule. You can also use the flexibility of your schedule to take unique and exciting field trips to complement your child's learning. I remember traveling to Williamsburg during off season. We got to experience so much living history up close and personally because the town wasn't overcrowded with tourists like it is during the summer months. Especially in our area here in Maryland, where we're so close to so many historical cities. You have Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Harper's Ferry, Gettysburg, Philadelphia, Antietam, St. Mary's, the list goes on. The options for easy, undercrowded field trips are nearly endless. Alright, so all of us want what's best for our children and our families, so it's natural to have questions about the viability of homeschooling. The good news is that most of your questions have quite simple answers. I'm going to cover some of the top questions people ask about homeschooling and offer some answers, and then I'll point you towards more resources at the end of this video for other questions you might have. One major question people tend to have about homeschooling is whether or not it is a truly legal option. The answer is yes. Homeschooling is legal in every state. Every state has unique guidelines and laws that govern homeschooling, and each state also has homeschool organizations that diligently work to protect the rights of parents to direct the education of their children. In Maryland, complying with homeschool law is actually pretty simple. In Maryland, you have to fill out a form letting your public school superintendent know that you are electing to homeschool. Then, you need to provide regular, thorough instruction in math, English, social studies, science, art, music, health, and physical education. These are the required subjects in Maryland, but the curriculum and the teaching methods you use are completely up to you. Finally, you need to maintain a portfolio of your child's schoolwork. You'll need to have this portfolio reviewed by either the local superintendent office or a church or state-approved umbrella group. For an easy-to-understand breakdown of Maryland homeschool law, you can visit the Homeschool Legal Defense Association's website at the URL here. Many families who homeschool have also wondered about whether or not they are qualified to teach their children at home. You might be thinking, how will I know what to teach? How do I teach algebra? Don't teachers go to school for years to be able to teach? What if I mess up? These doubts flow through many homeschoolers' minds. You are not alone. The short answer is yes, you are qualified. You can provide a well-rounded, quality education for your child, even if you have no background in education. In fact, the National Home Education Research Institute studies on homeschooling families found that home-educated students typically score 15 to 30 percentile points above public school students on standardized academic achievement tests. And homeschooled students score above average on achievement tests regardless of their parents' level of formal education or their family's household income. Whether homeschooling parents were ever certified teachers had no statistically significant relationship to their children's academic achievement. So the success of homeschooled students is not dependent on the parent's educational background. Part of the reason for homeschooled students' strong test performance is that so many homeschool curriculum choices are available to enable parents to customize their educational program to fit each child's specific needs and learning styles. Homeschooling curriculum is written with parents just like you in mind. It's written for use at home, not for use in a classroom. You also have a lot of technology available to you now that makes homeschooling much more accessible than ever before. DVDs, online classes, smartphone apps, homeschool forums and blogs, and many more resources are available to you. You have many more resources than you might think right at your fingertips. Additionally, support networks are out there and ready to help you thrive. From local co-ops and umbrella groups to tutorials and online communities, there are many homeschoolers and homeschool groups that help one another. Granite Classical Tutorials has a thriving community dedicated to supporting the Christian homeschool. We offer classes which your student can take in person twice a week with professional tutors and other students. Our tutorial teaches in the classical tradition, a time-honored way to teach students the tools of learning using age-appropriate methods. More information on Granite Classical will be available at the end of this video. Another example of a supportive community in our area is Homesteaders Homeschool Support Group, which is a vibrant homeschool co-op with a long history in Howard County designed to help homeschool moms support one another in their endeavors to educate their children at home. In short, homeschooling is thriving in Howard County and the surrounding areas. There are many more local homeschool communities waiting to support you in the education of your child. And finally, you're qualified to teach your child because no one knows your child like you do. My mother, who homeschooled my brother and me from kindergarten through 12th grade, firmly believed that when you put a child at a kitchen table with a mother who loves him and wants what's best for him, you end up with a wonderful educational experience for your child. Having been on the receiving end of that belief, I could not agree more. There are a lot of wonderful teachers out there in public and private schools, and I think they genuinely care about their students, but no matter how much they care, none of them can know and love your child like you do. As a parent, you have a special intuition into your child's needs. Who better to educate your child than you? When you educate your child one-on-one at the kitchen table, you can focus your educational program on meeting your child's individual needs and learning styles. This is really one of the key strengths of the homeschooling option. You don't have to accept an institution-based education plan for your children. Instead, you can create a plan to meet each child's unique needs and goals. According to the National Home Education Research Institute, two of the most common reasons families choose to homeschool are that it allows you to customize or individualize the curriculum and learning environment for each child, and it allows you to accomplish more academically than the child could in a traditional school. As a homeschooler, you, the parent, get to decide what's best for your child. Just this past year, a 17-year-old homeschooled student became the youngest certified CPA in the history of the United States. If there's something your student enjoys learning about, you can have her study in the field in more depth or arrange an internship with a small local business and really excel in that particular area. Homeschooling frees you to pursue a unique educational path that meets your students' needs. Lastly, what about socialization? We all want our children to have friends and to be able to interact with adults and other children and business people and clergy, coaches, bosses, and a whole range of people. Will our children be weird if they homeschool? Will they be too sheltered? As the director of classical education at Granite Classical, I see our homeschooled students thrive socially. In my experience, both growing up homeschooled and working closely with homeschoolers at Granite now, homeschooling does nothing to hinder a child's ability to appropriately interact with others. In fact, homeschoolers are often very well adjusted socially. I think this is because they're not limited to interactions with students their own age as they would be in a traditional school. Through co-ops, church groups, extracurriculars, relationships with other homeschooling families, and many more avenues for socialization, your homeschooled student will learn to appropriately interact with students younger and older than he or she is, as well as learn to appropriately interact with adults. Additionally, your family and home are the most loving, caring, safe, and positive social environment in which your child can be raised and educated. So why would you not take advantage of that opportunity? You know, 10 or 15 years ago when homeschooling was relatively new, there was a lot of skepticism about the ability of homeschooling to replace a traditional school social environment. People thought homeschoolers would grow up to be out of touch with society and unable to adjust to normal adult life. But now, the body of research based on adults who were homeschooled is growing. Thus far, results from the National Home Education Research Institute indicate that homeschooled adults participate in local community service more frequently than the general population. They vote and attend public meetings more frequently than the general population. They attend and succeed in college at an equal or higher rate than the general population, and they internalize the values and beliefs of their parents at a very high rate. Clearly, homeschoolers become well-adjusted citizens and active members of their communities. So I hope you're beginning to see that you can homeschool now. As you consider this option for your family, let's look at a few of the next steps you can take to move forward. The first thing you'll want to do is get in touch with a local homeschool community. Explore the options in your area. Whether you choose an umbrella group, a co-op, tutorial services, church ministries, or some combination, I really encourage you to get involved with a supportive community as soon as possible. Families just like yours, with all of the questions you're asking yourself today, they're bringing their children home for school. And the best people to help you get started are those who are already homeschooling. Support group leaders and local homeschooling parents have all walked in your shoes, and they're more than willing to answer your questions as you consider whether homeschooling is right for your family. Granite Classical Tutorials, again, is one such group. We're a tutorial service especially designed for homeschoolers, and we're eager to come alongside you in your homeschool endeavor. If you'd like more information about how Granite Classical Tutorials can assist you in the home education of your child, visit our website at graniteclassical.org or give us a call any Monday or Wednesday during the academic year. Additionally, you can come visit us and see our tutorial classes in session during one of our open house events. Contact us via our website for more information about our next open house. We have lots of helpful homeschooling literature from Homeschool Now as well that we'd love to send you home with when you visit. Then, a good step would be to attend a seminar or a convention. There are a lot of events which happen regularly all around the state designed to give homeschool parents tips on how to homeschool and to help you sort through the wealth of curriculum out there for your use. The 2006 Maryland State Homeschool Curriculum Fair happens in April, for example. You can visit this website for more information on that event. Finally, once your family has made the decision to homeschool, there's no reason to wait. Contact the Public School Approval Branch of the Maryland Department of Education and learn how to inform the appropriate state parties of your decision to homeschool. And then go forward in confidence. Homeschooling in Maryland is a viable legal option. You are qualified to educate your child, and a safe, loving home environment prepares your student extremely well for the real world. If there was ever a time to homeschool, it is now.